We have emotional boundaries, we have spiritual boundaries, we have financial boundaries, we have time boundaries, and we have non-negotiable boundaries. So next, let's get in-depth view of how do we communicate these boundaries, right? So there is 3 different forms that I'm aware of. There might be more, I'm not sure. But the ones I'm aware of are there is non-communicative boundaries. So that's when you set your boundaries internally in yourself and you decide if that person is following those boundaries and you don't communicate those boundaries. So it's harder for the other person to respect those boundaries when you're not communicating those properly. But you don't have to, remember, you don't have to apologize for your boundaries and you don't have to defend yourself. That's what's really important. The second key concept here for the different parts of boundaries is there is non-verbal boundaries, which is more written boundaries. Like we can't really communicate it with our words, so we write it down. So it might be a text or an email or a note or a different way of communicating that's written. The last one here is verbal, right? We want to have that verbal communication for those boundaries, so those boundaries can be respected. So the third one would be like if you were face to face with another person, expressing that boundaries and having that really in-depth conversation about it. It could also be over like voice chat, like any kind of apps. There's a lot of apps out there that do that. And then the final thing I want to talk about is just my mantra, because I think that really plays a big role kind of in this whole communication, to have that clear, concise communication. So that is my mantra, you guys. I don't know if you already know this, but my mantra is, first, we gotta really listen to people. Really just listen, not talk, just listen to what they have to say, right? We just want to hear them out as clear as we can. And then after we just listen, we really want to understand what they're saying. Where are they coming from when they're talking about this specific thing? And then the third thing we want to do is really ask questions. We want to ask questions. We want to go in depth more. We want to know exactly how it works or why it works or exactly what's going on with them, right?